Well, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Papa's Workshop. These are for Adam, Brady, Luke, and Brenna. Uh, and we got to hear from my assistant, Molly. Hold on. She is. She's hiding over here in the other part of the workshop. What you doing, Molly girl? You sleeping? No treat. No treat. Got to say hi to everybody. Here, have a sit. Oh, yeah, that's my good girl. Yes, oh, Molly girl. You ready to get to work? All right, well, let's go. There's Molly girl. All right, well, today I thought we'd follow up from our talk last week about screwdrivers and screws. We should probably cover hammers and nails. Nails were used quite a bit in the early furniture just because it was harder to make screws. The early nails were wrought iron nails, which you don't see much anymore. In fact, in the 1700s, they would burn down abandoned houses to retrieve the nails. A lot of people made nails in the evenings as a sort of a cottage industry. So nails from that period were before they were manufactured, were handmade by the blacksmiths and such. And then they started making cut nails. It's basically was a piece of sheet metal or a thin metal, like this, a flat piece of metal. And then they would cut the nails like this in succession, so the nails would have a profile that was sort of a rectangle to them. And that was actually a better nail than today. Today they're made out of wire. So you have just the wire, and they cut the wire off, and then so you just have a straight thing, and then they cut a little point, and then they flatten the head. But it's a round nail. Those are modern nails. The advantage of the square or rectangular nail is if you've got the grain of the wood, this is the board here, and the grain's going this way. When you pound that nail in, it cuts those fibers, and they point down. And then if you try to pull the nail back out, it grabs a hold of the nail, and the square nails are much harder to pull out than a round nail because they've got that force against the nail holding it in place. And here's what some of those would look like. These are modern reproductions of the antique nails. See, it's just got a square, and it's got a big diamond heads. These are more to be seen. This right here is another cut nail. You can see that's square. This is called a clout nail, and use this a lot of times on the drawer bottoms and the backs of cabinets, that kind of thing. Here's a headless cut nail. So it's kind of like the predecessor to today's finishing nails. And you can still buy these today, like I said, and they're made. These are manufactured in the late 1700s. They found machines to manufacture the cut nails. So after 1800 or so, the cut nails were more readily available, and that stopped the houses from being burnt down to get nails because they were in plenty of supply by then. Here's what modern nails. See, it's a round, and they come in different sizes. And actually, they're rated in sizes of pennies. Someone said that has to do with how much a pound of pennies cost, or a pound of nails cost back then. But you can look that up on the web, see if you can find out where the term penny came from, was when it refers to nails, like a 10-penny nail or an 8-penny nail. See if you can find that. Also, you have tacks that are kind of like a cut nail. They've got a square profile. They're not round. This is a horseshoe nail, and again, it's more like a cut nail. Here's a modern finishing nail. See, it doesn't have much of a head, so the hole in the top of the trim or whatever you're pounding in, it doesn't have a very big hole. Like you put something like this, it's got a great big hole. So here's a closer look at those cut nails, and that's the horseshoe nail, the tack, and then these are the modern nails. See, they're round. I just have the ends cut, and then the heads, that's the finishing nail over there. But these are the antique cutting, the cut nails. So then you got all the hammers, that different kinds of hammers, and there's a lot of special purpose hammers. But here's a traditional claw hammer. It has the claw on it to pull out a nail. So you would have a nail in there, and this gives you the leverage to pull it out. And they come with different, this one is a little sharper turn, gives you a little more leverage. And there's some that are more flattened out. Here is a Warrington hammer. It has a narrow, and that's for if you're doing these small clout nails, you can start the nail without smacking your fingers. But it's not a real heavy hammer. It's more of a light hammer. And you've got, these are tack hammers, and you can see the split in it there. That's magnetized, so you can hold the tack and then go. So if this is like an upholstery, you would just tack that down and then put another one on there and tack it down. So that's what those are for. And this is a cobbler's hammer. These are nice with the big face. And then you've got hammers that aren't necessarily for carpentry. This is a ball peen hammer. This is for metalworking, which is why you have the round and the flat, and they come in different sizes, just like the other hammers. And one thing to mention on these hammers, usually have a slightly rounded face to them. This is the face of the hammer, slightly rounded, so that if you can keep your eye on the nail, if you hit it center, you won't mark the wood around it. Of course, if you miss, you're going to dent the wood. Or if you're not quite centered, you can dent the wood a little bit. But that's what that crown is for, is so that if you're a good hammer operator, you can do it without denting the wood. So what happens when you do dent the wood? Well, you can put some water on it and let it soak, and usually it'll come out at least a little bit. You can also get iron and steam it, and you have to let it dry. If you just wet it, you have to let it dry for a few hours to have those wood fibers swell back up. But that's kind of what you have to do there. Of course, then you have your mallets. This one here is a dead blow hammer. This isn't made for nailing. This is made for adjustments. You're gluing something, you're pounding something together, you're making some adjustments in the boards. That's what this is for. And this has lead shot inside of it in an oil, and so that when you hit it, then a millisecond or two later, all of that shot, that lead shot inside of it, also goes down, and it keeps it from bouncing. It hits, and then it follows through with that punch. So, and this has got a plastic cover. It's supposed to not mark. I use the rubber mallet quite a bit for my assembly. You can see all the glue on the ends of it. These get kind of hard as they get older, the rubber, but I like it a little bit better than the dead blows. If you really have to hit something hard to get it to move, the glue's setting up on you real fast. These things will really do it, but you can also break something because that's got a lot more force to it than a simple. Then you can get my hammers like this. This has got two different kinds of plastic on it. You can get some of them that have replaceable tips of rubber and that. So I use that for things I don't want to mark up. This is a little scratch resistant. And here's a light duty rawhide. This is just a rawhide is wrapped tight. So this is just a light duty. If I need to make some adjustments on a setup or something, I don't want to dent the wood, or I don't want to dent the metal, I'll use that. Then you got the brass mallets. Now the brass is a soft metal, so you can't pound nails with this. But you can tap. This small one works real good on adjusting a plane. Where's my, yeah, there we go. If you want to adjust the angle, you can hit it this way and this way. Not really supposed to hit it there, but this won't damage the metal because this is softer. So that's a really nice little guy to have. Of course, we talked about this was a carving mallet. Again, this is not for the nails. This is for pounding your carving tools. And this is another little version of little softer tap of your carving tools. So you can see there's a lot of variety on the hammers, and there's special purpose hammers for auto body work, the curved, all sorts of different things. But if you want a good all-purpose claw hammer, maybe a little Warrington to start small nails, and a mallet or two for hitting the, rubber mallet is good to be able to adjust things. Then you got the issue of you got nails that you want to take out. Like I said, the square nails, older nails, are sometimes pretty hard to get out. Here's an old, this is a nail puller. And see, it has a claw. So you dig that in, and then when you lean on it, it clinches it. So you're supposed to stab it so it goes down under the head of the nail, and then lean on it. And you can use that to pound it. So you pound it in. I just pound it into my bench. And then, of course, you use that rocketing motion to pull the nail out. So these are kind of helpful if you've got big nails. They don't really help you much on small nails. This is more like for the floor or some big cabinet or something. And then a pry bar that we talked about last time. This is not a screwdriver. This is a pry bar. So then it has a slot in there for taking out nails as well, and they come in different sizes. You can get them bigger and smaller. This is a modern nail puller for a little smaller nails. You kind of have to point in there and dig it in a little bit, and then you squeeze it, and then that curve gives you that rocking motion just like the hammer, right? The hammer, you did the same thing. You're going to do the same thing with this. So that works pretty well. So that about does it. Like I said, a lot of the reproductions that I make of the furniture in the 1700s, they use a lot of the clout nails. Not so much for the screws, but the nails also have a benefit of they move a little bit as the board changes in size based on the humidity. So that's a little short one this time. We'll have to think of something really interesting for next week. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. We'll hope to see you soon. Love you all. Where's my button? Got to find the button.